Hey, good morning from the office. We're out here this morning at Sycamore Crossing. We've got Dr. Whaley. Welcome back.
Well, Dr. Whaley's coming back after the break. This is the world traveler.
This is the world traveler. Okay.
This Bill Whaley is here.
Yeah, Bill Whaley. Okay, I got you.
All right.
Anyway, I'm in for BKP this morning. I'm RFG. You probably know me from the All-Star panel, hopefully. We've got sights and sounds of the city this morning, right, Josh? Got a lot of ambient noise that we got to work around. We had a major storm last night in terms of rain. We didn't have any damaging winds or anything like that. You said your dogs didn't go crazy.
Didn't bother my dogs.
Yeah. And now we've got a Blue Ridge Movers going by this morning.
So we'll get a beer truck in a minute, and then we'll get
have a
the
beer
train
truck,
whistle.
and then the train whistle will be coming in.
All right.
Anyway, we've got a great show for you. After the break, before the break, we're gonna do a little travel monologue with Bill Whaley, the world traveler.
Yeah, doctor's coming back.
And then after the break, we'll come back with Dr. Whaley, who will we've got some questions for Ask the Doc.
All right.
Brought to you by Georgia Cancer Specialists, affiliated with Northside Hospital. Then the All-Star panel will come in. We've got the All-Star panel. We got Bruce. Jane is back with us this morning, hopefully. And we've got a mystery guest in from North Carolina that's a house guest of mine who is politically astute. Gary will join the All-Star panel. And then Cameron Hall with Jesse Barton will be represented after that. And then the star of the show, other than Bill Whaley, the All-Star, the pet of the week.
Yeah, me and the pet.
From the Humane Society. So
I got a real message this
You were in Russia, and you want to.
Yeah.
And speaking of Russia, we got a vodka truck that just pulled up.
Oh, I do. All right. We were in Russia for 2 weeks. I'm gonna make this quick, but we had a private guide, a private car, and we had the opportunity to spend 1 hour, just Jane and myself, with a cosmonaut. Cosmonaut had made a 3-month stay on the space station, had made a walk in space, had lived about a year in Houston, Texas in preparation for a space trip, went back for another 3-week trip.
Pull that a little closer. We got so much going on back there.
Went back for another 3-week trip in space. So this was, I would say, the highest ranked official Russian person that we met. Cosmonaut, 3 months in the space station, still actively employed at the space, at the cosmonaut location as an instructor, and been in space twice, been in our space program for a year, flown the F-16, speaks good English.
So do they treat them like heroes?
Yeah, they're heroes. So Jane and I were with this guy for 1 hour, one-on-one. We had private guides, and we just had 2 guides for 2 weeks, one for 10 days, one for 5 days. So we had local guides in the city. We're very friendly with bartenders, of course, very friendly with waiters. So I would
with the vodka truck.
And we had the opportunity to go into the home of a Russian school teacher who teaches English. She made a nice meal, very modest but clean Russian apartment. So from the waiter in the hotel to the cosmonaut, we had at least 20 discussions where we would say, what do you think of your government today? The reason I'm going here is, one, they're very pleased with the economy. It is just like it was in China, it's a entrepreneurial, capitalistic economy. Everybody's got a job. There's nobody telling you what kind of work to do. Nobody's working on piecework and stuff like we thought about. But I've got a video I sent to Josh, and if it comes up sometime, Josh will show it. It's only 18 seconds long, and this very articulate guide says, socialism and communism are a failed experiment. We have proven that in this country, and anybody in the United States who thinks that socialist ideas are proper has to be an idiot. Now we had it in different ways. Well, no, wait a minute. We had that from the head, the cosmonaut. We didn't use the word idiot, but used exactly the same word. So it was exactly the same thing from the bartender at the bottom to a cosmonaut who's done walking in space. I mean, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And they all said, they used this phrase like it was sort of the mantra. Socialism and communism is a failed experiment, and we have proven it in this country. And any country that thinks that socialism is the way forward is mistaken. So that's what I wanted to tell you.
I'm shocked that he would speak publicly like that.
Right. Well, in the room with him, they had a guy. You know, I could carry the Cuban baseball team during the Olympics,
right?
And there was always a guy with us who used to give me Cuban cigars. That was clearly the KGB type guy from Cuba. There was a guy in there with him that you would have thought was the KGB guy who was supposed to monitor what he said, and the guy was sitting over in the corner, and he was introduced as a instructor pilot. Senior instructor pilot who had never made a space trip. So every astronaut doesn't get to go to space. And then he was allegedly had better English. And so actually he did chop in every once in a while with a little English to help our cosmonaut. But we heard not one person tout socialism or communism.
Wow.
Now the other thing I'll tell you is, it's like China. They have no trash on the street. There's no potholes. They have much better control of traffic. And
now this was in Moscow.
This is Moscow, St. Petersburg, and 5 surrounding cities. The only things that we saw that looked poor is we took the speed train from Moscow to St. Petersburg, 240 kilometers an hour, by the way, and it was as smooth as glass. And you could see out the window every once in a while some villages that still looked old and still looked
We
rural.
noticed that when we were in St. Petersburg, that there were some areas when you go like from the airport to the city, there were some apartment buildings that, you know, they had graffiti and things like that.
Yeah, well, that's old Soviet era apartment buildings. Well, anyway, that's the travel log. You can. I'm sure that part of your expert panel will be happy to talk about that, but I wanted to get that out of the way. So I'm wearing this tie for 2 reasons. One, I'm happy to be back, and second, everybody thinks my president's a nut for telling him he's not going to go to Denmark, and I'm standing up for his right to not go to some place where they're not welcoming him.
Well, that's an interesting take, and I'm going to follow up on that thought with Jane on the All-Star panel today. There was no Russian collusion, though, when you were over there, huh?
I tried to collude a couple of times, but my wife would kept me from colluding. It was they are very attractive people there.
Yeah, good. Anyway, okay. Thank you to the World Traveler. Sorry. Oh, okay. You want to do the video?
You want to do it now? No, you can do it later. Go ahead and show it. 16 seconds, isn't it?
Yeah, let's do the video before we go to break. And then right after the video's over, we'll go right to break, and we'll be back with Ask the Doc.
Let me know how the sound is.
Okay, so communism is a good idea. The ideas are nice, but it's very difficult to implement those ideas, almost impossible. So people try to do it, but they failed, actually.
And then what happens when they fail? No one in this country is really advocating socialism or communism right now.
No, maybe older generation missed that period of time, but actually
young people are smart.
Young people are facing democracy.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
8 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
All right, we are back. We hope you enjoyed that little 16-second clip. I haven't seen it. I'm looking forward to seeing it when I get to go to YouTube to have the post. Josh, have you told everybody how they can get a hold of the show yet this morning? You don't have that on that computer, okay. Well, you can go to YouTube, you can go to fetchernews.com, you can go to Twitter at FYNTV, and that's all I can remember. So anyway, I am RFG. I'm in for BKP. We had a nice little travel log segment here with Bill Whaley, the World Traveler. Now we're switching gears and we're going to Ask the Doc. This morning we've got a couple of questions and we're going to go to question number 1. You ready, sir?
I'm ready.
All righty. Is CBD or hemp oil or marijuana related products really a benefit to cancer patients? Excuse me. Someone recommended that we look into it to help my mother cope with cancer treatment, symptoms, side effects. What say you?
Well, I'm going to tell you, BKP was very ahead of his time.
Cutting edge, as we say.
Cutting edge. We're sitting in front of a store where a child had a intractable epilepsy problem years ago when we started this segment, and CBD oil was a effective treatment, and they couldn't get it. And I got a license from the state medical board to be able to prescribe CBD oil, and there were only about 6 of us in the state that could do it. So I've been in the CBD oil business since it started.
And when was that?
About 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
But 20 years ago, when they were studying Marinol, which is the drug for nausea that's a prescription drug, I was part of that experimental group where it was Marinol versus smoked marijuana versus eating marijuana versus placebo, and we were not.
Marinol was indicated for someone that was undergoing chemotherapy.
It was it was looking at everything, nausea, chemo, and it actually was marketed as an appetite stimulant for HIV patients.
Okay.
But it's still out there, and we use it in nausea for cancer patients. But the point I'm making was that marijuana was not magic. All right, it didn't do a lot better than anything else. And the enthusiasm for marijuana, for Marinol, has never taken over in the medical community, and we use very little of it, and we use it after we've exhausted everything else. So put up that first one there. The hemp oil issue, where it says hemp oil versus CBD oil versus, it's got about 10 different names, and they're all the same. And that video you got there, that slide you got there, shows a marijuana leaf on the one side and hemp seeds on the other. So pull that one down, and the question was asked specifically about cancer. So you got the pain ladder up there. I want to show you about the pain ladder, because the place that CBD oil is used most often in the community is I've got arthritic pain, or I've got this as part of it's called an adjunct to pain relief. And it has a place theoretically because it's been demonstrated to have an anti-inflammatory effect, particularly like, say, arthritis. So it is used as an adjunct in pain relief. We talk about the opioid epidemic, don't we? So this is the World Health Organization pain ladder. So when you've got pain, you're supposed to start down here at the bottom where the Tylenol, aspirin, Motrin, and non-steroidals are. But if you'll notice, it says plus or minus an adjuvant. Well, what's an adjuvant? An adjuvant might be if you got a sprain, heat, ice, and massage. But if it's other pain, an adjuvant might be hemp or CBD oil. It make sense to you?
Yep.
All right, so if that helped you here, it might prevent you having to move up to the next one, which is the opioids with codeine and tramadol and hydrocodone and so forth. And what does it say there? That's for mild to moderate pain. What does it say? Plus an adjuvant, or minus an adjuvant. So if you're talking about cancer pain, then the heat and the cold and the massage wouldn't be the logic, because down here, but CBD oil added to that may help you not have to go to the next one, which is where you start getting in trouble. Morphine and the fentanyl and the rest. So we are
Schedule
really
2 drugs.
We are really happy to let people use hemp or CBD oil as an adjuvant to their pain relief, assuming they got it from a good place. Now let's go to that next one where that lady is taking that drop. Here's where some of the problems are. If you go online or you walk in a store right around here where they sell CBD oil,
let me tell you, that's all you see on billboards. CBD here. Get your CBD.
Oh yeah, you can go to a drugstore or a 7-Eleven or anything now.
It just seems like it popped up all over the place overnight.
And we're going to come to that in a minute.
All right.
But you'll see something like this. Take 1 drop of CBD oil twice a day, and all your symptoms are going to go away. Down here it says baldness, go broke, so forth. But if you just look, ADHD, addiction, Alzheimer's, it's got 6 things with the A's, and this list goes way on down. So get off that lady with the drop there, and we'll get to this. Pretty picture of the marijuana leaf. And here is where the danger is. So here you are, you see this at the health food store, or like this patient family recommends you try some CBD oil, and you go online. And as soon as you go online and you start getting shoved to websites, we know what to say about the Google searches, right?
Yep.
You'll find something like this that touts, this says cannabis, it'll be anything. And it'll tell you that it's going to help HIV and AIDS and diabetes. It can't help diabetes, menstrual cramps, fibromyalgia, everything else in the world. So,
well, how do they get away with that?
Because there's no regulation. It's like these vitamin supplements.
So the FDA is not involved.
No, it hasn't touched it. So go to that chart, the CBDoilUsers.com. Now this is interesting. This is an industry website that you got to be an industry website. So if you got an industry website about transportation and it's run by the
DOT.
No. Let's say it's run by the Korean automobile dealers.
Okay.
They're going to have
you.
a bunch of Kias and things up there, rather than Subarus and Volvos. So what this has done is it's broken down a bunch of different. All of these are CBD oil names, and they've made like they got different characteristics, so that if you got this one, it'd be insomnia, pain relief, and muscle spasms, and if you use this one, it'd be infectious and cancers. And this is all BS. Weight gain over here. I mean, stress and anxiety. That's a real one. Sleep aid, it may be good. Wound healing is not going to be good. All right. So put up the one that's got the body on it. This has got a bunch of different places. I'm not going to hit all of them, but we're going to go over this a little bit. Marijuana calms people down, right? I mean, the guy who sits back over there in the corner and smokes.
What's up, man?
Yeah. What's up, man? It smooths him out. Well, the second thing it does is you're supposed to you munch, right? You get the
blind munchies.
Yeah, get the munchies. So up here where it says relieves
anxiety. Not that I know anything about that.
No. Where it says it relieves anxiety, it is actually true that it may calm you down and assist you with anxiety and so forth. Second, we know, as I said earlier, that it has an anti-inflammatory character that can be measured. And that anti-inflammatory character may make it easier with some sort of rheumatoid or osteoarthritis. And it, as an adjunct to what your doctor's doing, not as a substitute, it may be beneficial. And then some of the other things that it's been touted for, I would say we should worry about. Well, at the end of this program, we always have a what's new in the medical news.
Are we going to move that to the
we're
forefront?
Not.
Okay.
No, we're not. We're not moving to the forefront.
We're not going to change anything here.
No, we're not. Except that today in the medical news, we'll come to that. They got the vaping lung injury thing. We'll come back later. But so in the medical news yesterday, CBD oil used for chronic pain, opioid addiction, and inflammation, which is the highest number. So they got patients that had, I can call them citizens, not patients and doctors, and they followed that group of patients and had them report on how they were doing. And as it turns out, when they started monitoring toxicity, there was a substantial amount of liver injury, liver function abnormality. There were various gastrointestinal and other issues, and a reason they tout for that is that there's no standard purity, no standard manufacturing, and this is not made by one of the big drug companies. They found in it nickel, tin, and THC. The real marijuana, and so there were so many things in it that it was mostly the purity was the problem. What the source was the problem, and I think you're pretty stuck when you're at the 7-Eleven buying CBD oil. And if you're going to buy it, you probably ought to get it at a pharmacy.
So, okay, that was going to be my follow-up question. How does one that is in need, whether it be an adjuvant or whatever, how do they determine? Is it just the efficacy, distribution?
Yeah, it's this. Where'd it come from? And I think the only way you're going to have any sort of guarantee is you can't imagine CVS or some big national drug distributor sticking something out there they might get sued for because it's got crap in it. So they will have a lot better uniformity and purity and consistency of dose across each bottle.
But you still have no guarantees.
But you have no guarantees. There's no guarantee. But if I'm going to trust anybody, I'm going to trust them more than 7-Eleven or your gas stations. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you.
All right, so that's the
Thank
end
you.
of that one.
That was question one. Question number one from for the doc. Now let's talk about lupus. My oldest sister was recently diagnosed with lupus. She doesn't really want to talk about it. What is lupus, and how does this affect one's daily life?
This is a real important question, and I think a lot of my duty is to be honest about what we know and what we don't know. And I'm going to put my hands out like this because I do it to my patients all the time. And I'll say that rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, scleroderma, and these illnesses,
they all come out of the same family?
This is all the same family of autoantibody related illnesses, run the spectrum from absolutely no symptoms except you get up in the morning and you feel a little stiff. You never see a doctor for it. You never take a drug for it, to a life-threatening kidney failure, neurological disorder on the opposite end. And when somebody hears the word lupus, they immediately start thinking about the kidney failure and the neurological and the bad end over here. And of the cases of lupus, that bad end is going to be about 3%. And me and you waking up in the morning and stiff all over is going to be the large majority. So let's go to that one that we'll just throw this title one up and then get off of it. When you think about lupus, you got the picture now of the woman with the face? You got that up there? When you think about lupus, people think, my sister's got a facial skin rash, and many people, I'd say it's common knowledge among grandmothers, common knowledge, that if you get this butterfly rash on your face, that it can be associated with some sort of trouble, and they even can remember lupus. So this butterfly rash, and if you look at your face, you've been out in the sun, and you got a little red cheek here, your nose is a little red. Well, all of us look that way down here in the summertime when we're outside or we're on a boat. In the wintertime, when it's cold and windy, we look that way. So everybody with that thing hadn't got lupus. Now, the big side over here, real lupus can cause you to have fluid around your lung. It can cause you to have fluid around your heart. It can poison your kidneys. It can give you arthritis. It can give you all sorts of circulatory disorders. Well, there are lots of things that cause one of these or others, and so if you got a rash from standing out in the sun too much, and then they tell you that you're beginning to get kidney failure, well, you and I both got kidney failure because we're over 60 and our numbers are not too good. You don't panic on I've got lupus. So get the classification up there. We were not going to get too technical, but this says that the diagnosis of lupus requires the presence of 4 or more of 11 criteria. Well, only one is the positive blood test. Okay? Mm-hmm. So if you go into Atlanta Stadium when the Falcons are playing, there are going to be 78,000 people there if they're playing a good team. Of that 78,000 people, probably around 3 to 5%, if you do a blood test, will have either a positive rheumatoid factor or a positive anti-nuclear antibody. They aren't going to be sick in the least. So
that's just a statistic.
So frequently in a primary care doctor's office, when somebody says, my knee hurts and my shoulder hurts, and then they order an autoimmunity rheumatoid panel and they see the anti-nuclear antibodies positive, they will tell the patient, you've got a positive lupus antibody.
That doesn't mean they have lupus.
It does not mean they have lupus, and that very well may be what has happened to this older sister. She doesn't want to talk about it. She may not have anything. Now, the other things are a neurological disorder. I mean, you can be out You can. Many people with it are sensitive to the sun. I think before you heard me tell BKP, there are some people that could go out in the sun and lie like this and bake and love it. Most of us go out there and, we can tan, but we'll burn if we stay out too long. And then there are people who go out in the sun for 20 minutes and come back in and are red as a beet, and for 3 days have a fever and are sick. Okay, that's the photosensitivity.
Okay.
So far we've got a positive blood test, but you can be diagnosed with lupus without that blood test. So then you have photosensitivity, kidney failure, serositis means the fluid around the lung, disorders of your blood, immunologic, other stuff. So you've got to have 4.
What's a discoid rash?
That's a red circular rash on your skin, which a lot of people in our age group get.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit like that.
Like a bruise?
Yeah, sort of like a bruise.
Okay.
But that's pretty uncommon. But anyway, to make a diagnosis of lupus, you got to have all 4 of those things. Now let's get up the treatment one. Is it going to impact the quality of your life? Most of the patients that I have with a positive antinuclear antibody, it does not impact the quality of their life at all. And if the treatment for lupus, this is medical and not website, starts right off with there is no cure for lupus. The goal of treatment is to ease symptoms. First thing, if you've got joint pain and stiffness, that's the Motrin business, right? If you've got a
first level on the pain ladder.
First level on the pain ladder. If you've got immune responses, it says corticosteroids. That's usually what you'd use for the short term. But you watch TV now and you watch Phil Mickelson and all that. Same drugs Phil Mickelson takes for that. You see those people that are taking the drugs for plaque psoriasis. All of those, that's immune modulating drugs. Have very little in the way of side effects. People are out there playing golf or playing with their kids in the pool.
Controls the symptoms, but it doesn't do anything for cure.
Correct. It does not change the genetics or change the immunity. It blocks the immunity.
Right.
And that's what they're talking about down here at the bottom about disease-modifying drugs. Now at the bottom they say talk to your doctor about diet and lifestyle habits. You can pull that off. But there's some things that if you've actually got a lupus, and most of the people with lupus, now if it's kidney failure, it's going to be the big drugs. If it's fluid in the lung, it's going to be the big drugs. But if it's the common thing of I'm aching all over and I'm sore, it is going to be, when you exercise with a steady dose. If you're trying to get better, you go up by 3% or 4% a week. You don't go go into that exercise class with these girls.
They'd kill me.
Yeah, well, right, but they go 1 day a week for a few weeks. They say, I got to lose 10 pounds, and then they go 4 days a week for the next month, and they wonder why they've got a stress fracture.
Yeah,
or get a stress fracture. Right. So they would just change some of that sort of stuff. So to answer the question. You don't know for sure, but this question, does she have lupus or just a positive blood test? If she has lupus, is it this mild type that so many of us have, or is it way over there in the kidney failure end? So I hope you've learned enough there.
Got it, yeah.
But the most important thing here is that this patient with a positive blood test is in the hands of somebody with experience. That generally will be an internist or a rheumatologist. There.
The Ask the Doc segment is always brought to us by North Georgia Cancer Specialists, affiliated with Northside Hospital. We appreciate the time and the effort that Dr. Whaley puts in every week, and I'll go to the BKP route, and you always give us a little cutting edge.
All right, so we're way ahead of our time on this program. I think we were talking about vaping 5 years ago when we first started here.
I remember.
All right. We, about 4 or 5 months ago, talked about the legitimate use of vaping in adults with a long-term history of smoking who have gone through the patches, they've gone through the gum, they've gone through the Chantix, they've gone through the group therapy like Weight Watchers and are having no luck. And we've said, you are the patient that the Juul, which is a legit manufacturer, came out with a nicotine inhaler that would give you the nicotine without the adverse effects. And there is a pack, if you're smoking a pack a day, there's a dose you can use that's equal to a pack a day. And
so that replicates the nicotine intake.
And that's legit. Well, what happened next was all these fly-by-night manufacturers making it to look like a memory stick for a computer and all this other stuff so kids could sneak it into the high school. And as we said here a few weeks ago, there was a bust here of a guy selling contaminated inhalers and people falling out in the school. Well, on June the 28th was the first report in the news about a serious acute lung disease in vaping. That was in the news. And in the next 8 weeks, which just ended yesterday, there have been between 150 and 300 reported, mostly teenagers, in the hospital, many of them on ventilators for a severe pulmonary injury. Now, there are probably tens of thousands of people that haven't gotten that severe. This begins with coughing, shortness of breath, and fatigue in people. I think the youngest was 13. Then
all as a result of vaping.
All the result of vaping. And then what they find when they get into the doctor, they get them to the emergency room, is that they've got an inflammatory lung disease that I like to tell people would be a little bit like inhaling chlorine gas in the First World War, but it chemically is like popcorn lung. You remember popcorn lung from about 10 or 12 years ago?
I don't.
Okay, in a microwave popcorn factory in the United States, many of the workers ended up with a severe lung disease because of the
microwave?
No, the oil that they were putting in it. So, and that's when they learned that PAM and those sprays had something that would give you lung disease, and they changed the formulation, and kids were inhaling PAM. Remember that? So this is an inflammatory lung disease. You get into the hospital, and if you don't die, you're on a respirator and ventilator. It's treated with corticosteroids, like we talked about the lupus.
Right.
Then when you get off the ventilator, you've got an emphysema or a chronic inflammatory lung disease, and nobody knows what the long-term effects of that are going to be. So what the CDC is looking at is no consistent manufacturer, no consistent product, meaning the guy had a strawberry inhaler or had a vanilla inhaler. But what some of the facts are is that in these nicotine pods that they sell, the dose in one nicotine pod of nicotine alone can equal the amount of nicotine in a pack of cigarettes. Well, a serious teenage vapor can use that pod in 15 minutes.
Wow.
Now, you couldn't smoke a pack of cigarettes in 15 minutes. So the intensity of the nicotine going into your lung in 15 minutes is kind of like a dose intensity of a guy that smokes a pack a day over 24 hours. So nobody knows how bad that's going to be, but that's one of the issues. And the other is that there are, again, all manner of contaminants in there because they don't know where it's making it. And just like in the CBD oil, nickel, tin, and metals are in there. And I think that has to do with the fact that when you make these oils, and that's what's oil that's in an inhaler oil that's not CBD oil, it's done in machinery, right? I mean, you got to make it in a machine and bottle it and stuff. So I think that's where the nickel and the tin come from. I'm not absolutely sure. Okay, the other thing I think that's worth mentioning that's in the news today is way back, back in the days we were worried about the Zika virus and the mosquitoes and everything.
I remember the days.
Okay, well now, all right. Well, you're hearing me do this. And the ragweed season is going to be horrible, and the ragweed season is just starting, and that's the only time of the year that I get this way, and that was in the news this morning, and I didn't get this till I sat down here outdoors.
Now I know what's going on with you and I sniffling this morning.
Okay, it's
ragweed.
It is. and we're outdoors.
Yep.
So I've been indoors all day yesterday working. I'm outdoors now. We're here in all this beauty, and I started doing this
We're
5
snorting
minutes
and
after we
coughing,
started. Okay, it's the ragweed season. So you go over to the you go to the dollar store or anywhere else, and you buy that generic Claritin or that generic Zyrtec. Start taking one now, and take it for the next 60 blinking days.
Always
that
great,
enough?
yeah, exactly. Always great information
How about
from
that was a dollar store ad? You like
exactly.
that?
Always great information from Ask the Doc segment, brought to you by North Georgia Cancer Specialists, affiliated with Northside Hospital. We've got the All-Star panel hovering to the right over there. They're getting ready to go. I can't wait to talk to Jane about some of the Russian escapades that you guys went through.
Right.
So, anyway, thank you for your time.
Hey, we got to
this morning.
sell some airtime here. Do a few commercials, all right?
Yeah, why don't you take us to break and we'll regroup.
We need to sell some airtime.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in J next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in J next to Walmart.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and J, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Hey, we are back. We had a great segment with Ask the Doc. Hope you tuned in. If you didn't, you can always catch it on YouTube at Fetch Your... What is it, Doc? FYN. Yeah, FYN. Go to YouTube, type in FYN TV. Fetch Your News. Segment will be up there with Ask the Doc. Anyway, we got a little different look on the panel this morning. We've got a friend in from Raleigh, North Carolina. And Gary joined the panel. He's sitting in for me, and I'm sitting in for BKP. And we're always love to have Janie back. Bruce is with us as per usual. So, wow, how was Russia?
Fabulous. Surprising.
You wouldn't move there, though.
No. No. I wouldn't move there, but I'll tell you, it'd be better than moving to D.C.
Whoa!
I'm not kidding. Those streets in Moscow, and they say Moskva, by the way, because I said, is it Moscow? I got to know. They said it's Moskva, really. So you know, Moskva. I don't know. But St. Petersburg.
Do you have a Moscow Mule?
No. And I didn't have much vodka either. I stuck to my old usual stuff: water and orange juice.
Sure.
Anyway, the streets were spotless. The people were wearing Gucci, Chanel.
Those are the tourists.
It's a capitalistic country, totally capitalistic.
So everything we're hearing is false?
Yeah. Well,
did you collude at all?
Oh, well, we our guides, we all joked. I'll say, the Russians did it, or some news would come up, and we would kid about Russian spies. I mean, it was really funny, but they are totally capitalistic. They cannot believe when I mentioned our young children are following socialism and communism. They about dropped out of their seat. They said, what? We're working so hard to get under the fence and get back up, although Lenin's everywhere, but they don't subscribe to that.
Huh.
But they're capitalistic.
You say Lenin, pictures of Lenin everywhere.
Bust of Lenin, pictures of Lenin, tiles of Lenin, I don't know.
We, when Bruce and I traveled over there...
2 years ago.
Oh, really?
A year ago,
Where'd
right?
you find? Where'd you go?
2 years ago, we went to St. Petersburg.
Okay.
Yep.
But that's all we went to. We didn't... The cost to get to Moscow on that trip by train...
The extra, it was like $1,100.
$1,000. Yeah,
I think it was $1,100.
Was it that for us, honey? Oh yeah. Well, high maintenance again. I don't know.
Yeah, Miss Arkansas, she's high maintenance. What can we say?
Ay.
But you had a good time. You talked to the cosmonaut for an hour, Bill said.
Yes.
Did you ask him any interesting questions? And I'll get to you guys here in a second.
Oh,
I'm not
sure.
Including you. We got to catch up here.
I have a lot of. I'll just maybe remark about two of the questions. One of them is kind of controversial. I don't know if I should say it. You should give me a.
No, go ahead.
A thing. But the
Brian
first,
gave me carte blanche.
Oh wow.
Yeah, carte blanche this morning.
So I asked him, after you were in space for 3 months, do you remember what it felt like when you sat with all the gravity on you? And it was years ago, and he said, of course I remember what it felt like. He said it was heavy, I had headaches, I could hardly walk.
You wouldn't get up.
Yeah. What? I don't believe I heard it. So he said it was heavy, and it took him a while to get. Then I asked him, I have this hobby of looking at the moon landing. Oh, did it happen? Did it not? I mean, people know about that. So
really?
Yeah. I'm just looking for fun. This is just fun. So I've seen some photographs that look like maybe they weren't taken on the moon. There's no dust. There are water bubbles. I mean, you can search it out for yourself. So I got.
In fact, there were some with cosmonauts in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, there's
water bubbles.
No dust on the module. I mean, it just came down. Anyway, so I got my courage up. I thought Bill was going to drop dead. I swear to God. He knew what I was going to say, and he turned white as a sheet. But we were laughing with this guy.
What'd you ask him?
So I said, do you think we really went to the moon?
Wow, you did ask.
Holy cow.
The elephant in the room came out, huh?
You know me. And so he said,
yes,
he started laughing. I said, well, the pictures, some of them are a little iffy. And he said, well, they may have taken some pictures here on Earth just to make the experience more wonderful. What an answer. He said, but
They may have.
but most of the pictures were from the moon. Now, what an answer.
Wow.
That's what he said. Now, why would, if there was no controversy or he didn't know anything, why would he say they may have taken some pictures?
Did you ask him why the Russians never tried to go to the moon, or did they
Yes. Well, I asked my guide, who is kind of an expert in the space thing, and she said that after we beat them to the moon, she said it was just a competition. We lost, so we just went on to other things.
We're moving to Mars.
Yeah. Which I'm thinking, hello, I don't know.
What's your take on that, Gary?
It was real. I've read quite a bit of books on it. It was real.
Have you read books saying it wasn't real? Well, that's his problem.
We've uncovered the problem.
Hello.
Yeah, we don't want to get off. But let me just ask you one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me just ask you one thing.
I want to ask you one thing.
Yeah. Oh, we all got our one thing.
But she is right. It was a Cold War race. It was all about the Cold War.
Right.
And we got there first.
Tell me why, if you believe, based on your
reading and
research that it was real, why haven't we done it again? There's so much fodder out there that says, did they do it, didn't they do it? If it was so, keep in mind, now wait, before you go there, there's more technology in this phone than existed when we went to the moon.
Your phone right there is, I think it's like thousands of times more powerful than the computer that was used on the moon.
So why didn't we do it again?
Well, first of all, a lot of people don't realize we went 6 times.
Yeah, I understand.
And so 12
allegedly,
12 men have walked on the moon.
Yeah.
But it was a cost thing. I think Nixon was the one that put the kibosh on further moon missions. I think it was like 72, where he basically did not fund NASA to go any further. It was very expensive. I think it was $20 billion at the time, which equates to probably 150 billion today. But it was a cost thing, is why we haven't.
Bruce, you got a thought on that?
Yeah, well, I don't know what it cost back then or how many men walked on the moon, but I think Trump has started something where they're going to go back to the moon in like 3 or 4 years.
I didn't know that. I've not heard that.
There's something new on that.
What was the most outstanding thing about your trip? And then we'll switch gears a little bit. What sticks out in your mind the most from your Russian experience?
2 things. One is the friendliness of the people. Now, they weren't friendly when you walk into a store. They're mean, they're rude. They're rude to the other Russians. They're just rude.
Like France.
Like French people. Worse almost. They're just rude. But that's not their nature, because I spoke with people about it. That's not their nature. Once you get to know them, they are fabulous. And the opulence in the Hermitage and in the castles. I've been to Versailles. You've been unbelievable wealth. Solid gold, 300 pounds. I mean, unbelievable. I got one question for you.
Yes.
Go look up on the web the astronauts saying, yes, we used to go to the moon, but we don't anymore because we lost that technology. I would go in a minute, but we just don't know how to do it anymore, and it's too expensive to get the technology back. That was on an interview. And then go from there. Call me in a month or 2.
I have a question for you. Did you ask any of your new Russian friends if we have meddled in their elections?
They laughed their heads off.
Really?
Yeah. We talked about that. We just laughed our heads off. And I asked them what they think about Putin. Well,
Rootin' tootin' Putin.
Yeah. They're kind of like this. They say, we don't know. He had
good days,
8
bad
years.
days.
Then he was off. Then he always says, we don't know really. He's not bad. He's not good.
Did you see any Trump nesting dolls?
One. I saw one with Putin and Trump, both without their shirt. Both bodies were Putin and the head was Trump on the back.
Didn't I tell you were going to see a lot of that stuff, but you only saw one thing with Trump on it?
One. And then there was a guy, the only other thing was a guy with a sign that said, America wrote our Constitution here in Russia, and we need to ditch this Constitution because America wrote it. And Bill said, well, that could kind of be true. They could have hobnobbed with Truman or whoever was there. I don't know. But that's the only thing. And no one looked at me funny. I mean, I don't know.
Another story for another day, right? Well, we're glad you're back.
Thanks. It was fun.
Yeah. It was, 2 weeks, huh?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Russian food, fabulous.
Really? Caviar?
We didn't eat any of that. It was $1,000 about 2 spoons. I mean, the good stuff. I mean, I don't need
salty as heck.
I like
no
caviar,
fish food for
I
you.
like the cheap caviar.
Yeah, but
might as well get it here.
You're going to enjoy the Italian food in 3 weeks whenever you're going. That
10
should be
days,
great.
I think. Yeah,
10 days you're heading out again.
Going to Italy.
Yeah,
we should have a broadcast from there. Russia would have been more
Talk to the
fun.
boss.
I should have videoed people and interviewed them.
You should have.
In Russia. Gosh, I'm not going back though.
Do it in Italy.
And see what they think.
Yeah.
That might be fun.
See what they think about Russia meddling in the U.S. elections in Italy.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, of course, Italy now
This is
is
my
like
chance.
their 62nd prime minister since World War II has resigned.
Oh.
And they're rudderless again. So it should be fun.
What did he do? He stood up at the city council or whatever the council and said, "Ciao, I'm out of here."
Ciao, baby.
Ciao, baby.
Really?
Yeah, that was a week ago. Wasn't it?
Yeah, the end of last week.
Where do you want to go?
Well,
What's in the news?
we need to fill Jane up with the latest news that she's missed.
I got online a little bit, so
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not
Oh,
all,
yeah,
I'm
we
not
got-
all, the way under.
Yeah.
But
Gary, tell us about politics in North Carolina. Good, bad, and different.
I think the last 2 or 3 years, I turned into a swing state. I think up until
What's
the
the
last
matter,
election,
you?
It was, I think it was pretty staunch Republican, but I think it's in play right now.
Yeah. What's the causation?
Probably migration, people coming from the Northeast, people from New York.
Right.
Bringing their liberal values with them.
I think that's part of it.
Yeah, I do too. I
Bringing
think
it
that's prevalent in Texas and Florida as well.
Yeah, you have Charlotte's the biggest city. That's I think 2 million plus population.
You're in the Raleigh area.
Raleigh's a little over 1 million, so I think that's a big part of it. It's just the migration from the Northeast, Midwest states.
Do you see it break down along racial lines? Because they keep talking about the African American bloc. I mean, and there's a fair amount of the state is.
That's a good question, and I can't really. I don't know. I have not personally. The employment is we have a low unemployment rate. So there's a lot of people working. I mean, no matter what color, there's a lot of opportunities in Raleigh. What I see, black and white, it's just the economy is just booming.
When I spent some time there doing some work in that Research Triangle area, I noticed that the diversity was amazing.
Very much so. Very much so.
And you wonder what the politics of the diverse population, and when I'm saying diverse, Middle Eastern, Asian, a lot of Asian.
Right. A lot of business owners. A lot of the Asians are they start their own businesses. And that's a good thing. Diversity is a good thing.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think anybody disagrees with that.
No. No. So, swing state, you think?
I think it's a swing. I think it could go either way.
Huh.
Yeah. We we had a Republican governor, and he lost to a Democrat the last election.
And how is he governing?
Yeah, the governor of North Carolina is, at my understanding, I've only been there 5 years, but I don't think the governor has a lot of power in North Carolina, maybe compared to a New York State. I think it's more the House and the Senate of the state. I think has more power or more sway than the governor. I think it's more of a figurehead.
I think the president just announced he's going to be doing a rally somewhere in North Carolina for a guy who's running for office.
I've not heard that. I tried to go to one of his rallies in 2016, and I had gotten tickets, and there were so many people, even with a ticket, I couldn't get in.
Oh, boy.
What did you have to do to get those tickets? Do you recall? Did you have to give...
With the lottery?
No,
Rick,
that's a good. I can't remember how. I can't remember how.
I've never applied for it, but people say that they have such a huge information base, the Trump campaign, because they give as many tickets out as are applied for. knowing that a lot of them can't be used, but they get the data to reach back out to these people.
Maybe that's what happened. And there were thousands of people outside.
And where was this? Was it Raleigh?
In Raleigh.
Okay.
For 2016.
Was it at the Coliseum there?
No, it was at. I can't think of the name of the. It probably held about 4,000 or 5,000.
It was an indoor
people.
venue, though.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. Yeah.
Bruce, what do you want to tell Jane that happened over the last 2 weeks that she maybe not know about?
Oh, let's see. There's.
What sticks out in your mind?
Greenland's off the table.
Yeah.
What is your thought about that?
We made a run of
Seriously.
Greenland, and then it just blew up.
What is your thought about that?
It's classic Trump. I think he just floats things out there and create some discussion. And
yeah, but keep in mind, this wasn't just something that he floated out. This has been this was a trial balloon that's happened in a couple different presidential administrations.
Yeah, way back at Truman, right?
Yeah, way back.
He brought it up.
I think it was.
I don't know if it got the press.
I think Andrew Johnson. It went
Andrew
back over 100 years.
Johnson.
I don't think it got the press. Maybe with Andrew Johnson.
One of them offered,
I think he was the first
gold bullion. I can't remember the number.
It was Truman.
That was
like
Truman?
120.
Yeah.
I don't know how much, but it was gold.
It was a lot of dough.
It was a lot of dough.
Well, again, we've had military bases there since I think '49.
And that's always a stopover point sometimes when you're internationally traveling.
Yeah.
If you have an emergency, you set it down in Greenland.
Exactly. And, again, Denmark being a NATO, I think there's a connection there. But, yeah, the Prime Minister didn't do very well with it.
There's an interesting fact about Greenland a lot of people don't know about. We had a weather station there for D-Day. We had a weather station that the Germans didn't. And we got the information, Eisenhower got the weather information from Greenland to determine to go on June 6th.
Huh.
A lot of people don't know that. But
I know you're very well read in the Second World War kind
history.
of stuff.
Because at the time, the weather was really bad, and the Germans didn't think that we were going to invade on June 6th because the weather was so bad. And the weather people in Greenland relayed the information to Eisenhower and said that there was going to be a break in the weather because of the climate in Greenland, and that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, we've got just transparency. We've got two couples that are friends of ours that we met on a river cruise, and we're scheduled to go on another river cruise together next year. And Ken, who's not in the picture here but is with us, I was talking to him yesterday, speaking of D-Day, and he shared with me that his father did the Omaha Beach. Omaha Beach, and 2 days after the invasion, he wrote like a little manifesto, a little recount that he said he would share that with me. But after that, he said his dad never talked about it again. And I'm really looking forward to reading the account from someone that was there, Omaha Beach on D-Day. To see what it was like. So I digressed a little bit.
Do you know about?
Go ahead.
Do you know about Teddy Roosevelt Jr. and storming Normandy?
Yes, I do.
Isn't that I just learned that.
Yes.
He
was
wanted to go on. They said no. Eisenhower finally said yes.
Yes.
Eisenhower wrote his obituary immediately. He went over there and went on that beach, saved many people, and he had a cane. He was
Yes.
amazing.
Yes. Yep.
Again, I'm digressing, but if any of you haven't had the chance or the opportunity to go to Normandy, it is truly a moving experience and something that you will absolutely never forget. You can see all the pictures you want, but until you walk those grounds and imagine what the challenges were on D-Day, and the waves of young men that just kept coming.
18, 19 years old.
Right.
And especially to visit the American Cemetery.
Yeah.
Right.
Just absolutely amazing. So.
What happened to us was Bill. We went. And he was looking at the tombstones, and I could tell something was going through his mind. And then he just broke down, weeping, and he said, "Here are three brothers right beside himself.
Yeah.
And that's a whole family." And he had a serious time there. He just kind of. It's breathtaking, and you just thank the good Lord we had people to do that to save us.
Absolutely. It's a moving place, but again, when the times I've been there, it's always been beautiful weather like this, and it's kind of hard to like shift it, into the kind of lousy weather they were in.
Sideways
overcast.
rain and cold.
Yeah. I mean, because it's a beautiful place now. I mean, it's the cemetery is beautifully manicured. It's very, very nice. And you go to the cliffs, and everything looks like a beautiful beach. And it's just hard to like get yourself back into that day.
Yeah.
In 1944.
Yeah. Anyway, well, getting back to Greenland, I think the Queen of Denmark, right?
Prime Minister.
I mean, no, but she was the one that said it was absurd.
I heard it was the Prime Minister that said that. Anyway.
You're right.
The woman.
Yeah.
But the invite came from
the Queen.
The Queen.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Prime Minister chimed in and said, we're not doing that's an absurd statement. And that's when Trump got his back up.
Yeah.
And said, no one treats the U.S. like that. It wasn't about him. He made a specific point to say, no one treats the U.S. this way.
But the mainstream media, of course, it's all about him.
Oh, yeah, it's all about him.
Because he's, such a narcissistic,
He's now the
bombastic.
Antichrist and Jesus all in one because he said, I'm the chosen one.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, what else came up? What else came up this week? There's a huge controversy now, and the press is coming out and saying we're being disrespected by having to constantly have these pressers on the lawn with the helicopter noise in the background, and we can't. It's chaotic, and he's doing it to make us look bad.
Who's saying this? I missed it.
This is the mainstream
About
media
DC?
is saying this about Trump.
When he talks, going to the helicopter, he stops and takes all these
Yeah,
questions.
yeah, okay.
They're saying, it's windy and there's a chopper rotor and all this stuff. And they're going, we're being disrespected.
Oh, my land.
The press conference, as we used to know it, really doesn't exist anymore. And I read an article this morning and said that Trump has held a presser on the lawn, either coming in or leaving 80 times. Obama did it 3 times. And the press is saying that there's so much confusion out there and everybody's shouting questions. And before you can get, the logical follow-up where we question his answer, he's already moved to somebody else.
Well planned.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that is well planned.
Well played.
Exactly. Well played, well planned.
Don't you think he's been one of the most transparent presidents?
Absolutely.
I
in recent
do.
memory?
I do.
I mean, he doesn't dodge anything. He tells it like it is. He's
Good,
very
bad, or
transparent.
indifferent.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing.
But the press says it's stuck in their craw ever since they stopped the briefings with Sarah Huckabee Sanders. But we want to be back in that like little tight room, and we want to like be able to do follow-ups and all that. And
grandstand is what they're missing.
Oh yeah,
They're missing the Jim Acosta.
Stand up and make
April
it
Ryan.
And April Ryan
Yes.
et al. Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
The speaking of Sarah Huckabee Sanders, just signed a contract with Fox.
Yep.
Did she?
Yep.
Yep.
It's going to
That
be
is
a
so great. I hope
political
she's running for
consultant.
governor.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, if she's not going home to those 3 kids after all, she's gonna grab right in the spotlight and
Pay
take
for their college.
Take advantage. Yeah, take advantage just like her dad did.
Hey, Rick, how'd you like to have her job? Getting up every morning, having to face the mainstream media.
Thankless.
Thankless. That's an understatement.
Yeah. And now Sean Spicer, who was just picked for a role on Dancing with the Stars, he's being dissed like crazy from the.
He's not going to dance, right? He's going to judge.
No, he's going to dance.
No, I
Isn't he?
thought he was going to dance.
Oh, I thought he was going to judge.
No, he's going to be Twinkle Toes out there.
Damn.
I saw a clip of Tucker Carlson years ago when he did it. That man is a brilliant man, but he has no rhythm. I'll tell you that. None.
He got no rhythm.
There's going to be one of those coming up here. They're going to do. There's some benefit.
Yeah.
Are we
like
clogging?
No. Local celebrities, politicians dancing for Habitat or
Dancing
something.
for dollars. I don't know.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think the 19th of September.
It'd be funny.
Have you heard about Fredo?
Yeah.
Why are we wasting time on this?
Cuomo the Lesser Cuomo the Lesser.
The one that looks like it's always shocked.
That's right. Commonly called. Now he will never. I guarantee you, he will never ever live that down.
Thank goodness.
The only thing he should have done, he had two choices, and he went the wrong way. He decided to.
Fredo Cuomo.
Yeah, he decided to challenge this poor guy. He was set up, and man, I tell you what, once that hook went in, it was set hard, and he will never be known by another name other than Fredo. Fredo the Lesser.
Beauty is beautiful to think about it.
Yeah, it is.
And then all the back chat about, was that an insult for Italian Americans?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, come on.
No, I mean he called himself Fredo on the show one time when he was wearing one of these loud Cuban shirts that he showed up with on the set. I mean, they were making that. I mean, it was hilarious. That was one of the best things that you missed when you were gone.
Yeah, but you know, we got free Wi-Fi in some of these hotels. And I kind of kept
Nothing's free, darling.
Yeah.
Well,
they're very capitalistic over there.
Yeah, well, the hotels were expensive. But I will tell you that our Netflix was pirated and made a bunch of charges on Netflix. And when we got home, we changed the password, turned on Netflix, and the captions were all in Arabic.
Arabic?
Really?
So it was from not Mongolia. It was from Morocco who stole it. So I'm watching my cards very.
So you got hacked.
Yeah. So I don't know how much hacked, but we're watching all our cards.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
What else did she miss? Over the last 2 weeks.
Last 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I'm at a loss, son.
Gosh.
I made some
Time
notes
for a
this morning.
commercial. Everyone come to Sycamore Crossing.
No, I
It's a
made some
lovely
notes
place.
this morning. Let's see. White House lawn briefings. Fredo.
Greenland, we talked about
Greenland, we got that covered. Let's go to.
Well, you still the Israel, fallout with the squad and all that. That's still bumping around.
Yeah, that's a good topic. Did you follow that at all when you were over there with the squad?
A little bit.
Because that was
that really
started
wasn't the
right
squad.
before
It
we
was
left.
two of them. Let me tell you who's really been. Have you seen AOC on the air at all lately?
No, I was talking to a coworker about that.
Really laying low.
Well, she's in trouble with her whole organization.
Well, the
money
guy that was
marriages and no, that's the other one. The
that's
marriages.
the other one.
AOC is. I saw the guy interviewed. I think you told me who's really handling her whole thing.
The handler.
Yeah, really, the big guy. You see the little guys, and you sent me the big guy, and he just said we are taking over the Senate.
Ties to Soros.
We have gotten so many people, 18 elected that we're managing, and we're taking over the Congress.
Exactly.
We will take it over. That is scary.
Yeah.
Everyone out there needs to call Rick and ask him how to get to that link.
His number is.
Now I sent Jane a video that showed chronologically, or really more of a diagram as to where the money was being funneled from and to whom, and the whole thing was to try to, like you said, get all of these representatives, and they're going to try to do it in the Senate as well. Started with that guy from Michigan that just flipped over to the Democratic side. Starts with an A, and I can't think of the last name.
I can think of a good one we could put in.
Asher?
Oh, it's close.
That might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also haven't heard a lot from Pelosi and
Haven't heard a word.
Pelosi's
recently.
overseas, I believe. I think
okay.
Pelosi is
She was in Israel.
Israel, and then she went over to Italy to see some relatives. I don't know.
Yes, they say her dad was kind of well connected, right?
Well,
yeah.
He was the mayor of Baltimore.
Yeah,
But
connected
really
with
tight with the
mafias.
mafia bosses on the East Coast.
Right. And I don't know if anybody else has seen the picture of her being Miss Lube Job. Remember those pictures?
We're going down the mountain.
No, I mean that's the truth. She was in a beauty contest.
Oh,
and she won an award for being Miss Lube Job, and all these guys, you know, their little bow ties, like the Texaco bow ties that we used to see. You know,
That's a gasoline service station.
service stations.
For you young people.
Yeah, that's right. Service was the operative word. It doesn't exist anymore. It's all self-service. Anyway, let's see.
I have an interesting point.
Do it.
Everyone, or a lot of people who are listening, are the white hats and the conservatives, are frustrated because nothing's happening. They need to release this, release that. And I heard a very simple, it gets deeper, I'm just going to say the first level. This guy said, the reason you have to be patient is it's timing. He says, think about it. How much Trump already knew when he got into the White House because of certain things? He said, what do you think would happen if they released everything? They had Comey was there. Clinton go. You had Strzok there. You had Page there. You had Brennan, and nothing would have happened. We would have shot our whole information, and everyone would have been found not guilty.
It would have been off the news.
It had been off the table. They'd have gone to trial, and they'd have been innocent.
So your thought is that this is all a controlled release.
Yes,
to
while
keep it
they're
relevant.
getting rid of, they've gotten rid of all that. There's still moles, I hear, in the Republican Party that are dangerous.
Deep state
still
moles here.
there's
no question.
Yeah, but all those
about
people
that.
you mentioned are just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
You know?
So that's why they aren't
9/10 of that's below the
releasing
water.
it right now. They can release. They're piecing it out. Number one, to get the people ready, because it will be so shocking. You've got to just kind of. It's like your mother says, you're going to the doctor. Don't forget you get a sucker. Oh yeah, don't be afraid, and then you get your shot. I mean, it's something kind of like that.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's all. I think you're right. I think it's all controlled, and it's to keep it relevant in the news. You just saw probably something came out about the CEO of Overstock.
Yeah, I saw that interview. Last night.
Exactly.
Oh,
I didn't see it, but I read about it this
gosh.
morning. The CEO of Overstock has now been tied to Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, and was being guided by what he calls the black suits.
The top three.
The black suits.
Intimated was Brennan. What's his name, and Comey.
McCabe.
No, yeah, but Strzok was the man who was kind of telling him what to do, but he was told
on behalf of the FBI.
It all comes from the top three, and he said, I can't tell you who, but it was Brennan, Comey, and then who's that
Clapper?
other guy? Yeah, Clapper. And he knows it goes to the White House. He said, look, I can't say too much. I've said more than I should, but DOJ has everything. And they wanted him to, and he had a relationship with the Russian woman that came over.
Yeah, but it starts with a B, and I can't think of her name.
now.
But I mean, she was.
He was working for us, and they pulled him in. But he said, "I know." I
watched the interview.
I watched the whole thing.
I know nothing.
Was it on Hannity or Laura?
No, it was on beautiful blonde.
Martha McCollum?
Yeah, Martha,
Okay.
and she did a fabulous job. She just let him talk.
Okay. And the other guy that was talking about it now is Corey Lewandowski, right? Corey Lewandowski was the one that came on, and I think he was the one that brought it to light. In fact, the Fox News headline says this morning, Corey Lewandowski says this guy should be investigated.
This guy
Byrne is his name,
Byrne
right?
investigated. Heck, he said he stayed around just so he could get felony charges on Brennan, on the guys. I mean, he said he knew something was going on. He said, I don't know what to do. He went to a lawyer. The lawyer says, you've got to break with this, or one of his mentors. You've got to tell people this. And he's not a Republican. He's a liberal. He's libertarian. He said, and when he found all this out, and he told his lawyer said, you go away. You don't ever say anything. You will be dead. You do not say one word about any of this. And he said, I just had to tell. But you're going to find out, I do believe, that he is instrumental in testifying against the big bad wolf.
Wow. Okay. So he's
watch the interview.
Were you still in the States when Epstein died?
Oh yeah.
You were still here.
I think so, but I know all about it.
Go.
I mean, I'm saying I know all about it.
Yeah. Give me your thoughts.
At first, I did entertain the idea that he was switched out, and some people say that he was switched out. There was a guy in an army thing, there was a van, and they took him down the hall in a wheelchair. But the more that I listen to it, to more
I mean,
people,
I think he's
dead.
Yeah.
I think he's dead.
Yeah, there's no question about that in my mind, anyway.
Yeah, I think he's dead.
What say you? You have any thoughts about Jeffrey, old boy?
Well, I thought first of all that he might have been taken care of, but I read recently where he did fill out a will. I think 3 days.
2 days.
before.
Yeah, 2 or 3 days
So
before.
if that's true, then he probably. I'm leaning towards the fact that he probably did commit suicide.
Yeah, the thing that came out, with the hyoid bone.
Yes,
it was very infrequently broken.
And that
on a hanging.
Yes,
because of the way the body's positioned.
When I heard that, I thought, maybe someone did knock him off.
I think that was maybe just the coroner trying to cover his keister, or the medical examiner trying to say, well, it was broken.
But they said the prison people aren't cooperating at all.
They are not cooperating.
They said they just subpoenaed 20 of them.
That's right. They had to subpoena
yesterday.
them.
Really?
And then the big guy that was put into his cell that everyone
see that
thinks
guy?
may have.
Oh my gosh.
And so he's been talking, and
I haven't
he's
seen
being
pictures of him.
threatened. He's
The
been
guy that
threatened.
was his cellmate. Oh my gosh, he looks like
The
something.
Hulk.
Yeah, I mean he's like really just muscle bound.
Huh?
Yeah.
Steroids in prisons.
Yeah.
But we still got, what's that woman, Gisa Weasel, Lucy Weesey, what's that woman that with the black hair that was...
Oh, yeah.
Ghislaine.
Ghislaine
Maxwell.
Yeah, she could tell everything, but now they say it doesn't matter, he's dead.
That picture that was allegedly taken of her at an In-N-Out burger was supposedly now doctored because there were different views of it and there were different things that changed in the background.
I don't understand what... One said she's trying to say, I'm going to talk. I'm here. I mean, she was handcuffed. You couldn't tell. I don't understand all that interpretation.
I don't either.
Supposedly she turned up. She's living with some high tech guru in Massachusetts, at his house, and supposedly stays very secluded and housebound and all that. So who knows?
Did he have any connections with the Clintons? Was he a donor?
Epstein?
Yeah.
They say he and Clinton created the whole
Lolita Island?
No, the Clinton Foundation, that he was one of the founders of the Clinton Foundation.
I didn't know that.
But
Look it
but
up.
I know he had some connection because there's this whole conspiracy theory out there about all the people that have died that have known.
That's not
Clinton.
conspiracy. That's fact.
Well,
I mean, no, you just get. First of all,
just like the moon landings.
No. I'm from Arkansas. I know a lot of stuff about Clinton.
wow.
I have people who
So you
worked
go
with
back
him
to
for him. He was in
Whitewater.
school
Oh, yeah,
and I was there. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, and I have relatives that work there. But the thing is, how many? Do you know 46 people since you've been born that you know well, you've worked with, you've had lunch with, that are dead by mysterious deaths? Do you know that, not just dying of old age or
Right.
cancer?
I can't. Just recently, and I can't remember where I saw it. It was if it's on the internet or someone showed me. There's a whole list.
You need to get to work. You are behind. You are so behind.
Yeah, this was a launching pad for Gary. Now,
Okay.
see, we're kind of opening his eyes, and we're gonna.
He's going to be our
probably
Raleigh
think-
correspondent.
Yeah, he's gonna be our
Do you hear that, BKP?
Well, I'm going to make a list out.
There were a lot of them.
Do you think Vince Foster?
That has to be more than coincidence.
So do you think? Really? Now, do you think Vince Foster killed himself or was murdered?
Murdered.
Well, he's got hope. We have hope, but you do have a lot of work to do.
Okay.
They may
I'll
have
work
taken
on
the
it.
videos off the. YouTube.
Well, like the rest
How about
of
Ron
these
Brown?
people,
Wouldn't
I'm
Ron
not
Brown
Dead
find
or
with a
gonna-
bullet hole in his
in
head,
crash
top of his head?
That was part of the plane.
Dong.
Put him in crash mode. Yeah.
But Ghislaine Maxwell's father was a big newspaper guy, Robert
Yes,
Maxwell,
and he died.
Oh.
and supposedly he had very close connections with the Mossad.
Oh, really?
And
Just saying.
supposedly
Just
he
saying.
committed suicide out of the blue off his yacht.
Who knows?
Wow.
Hello.
Jeez.
You didn't talk about that with a cosmonaut? Come on.
Well, he had a guy with him, a big old guy, and he just kind of sat over in the corner. And I said, what he's doing is he's seeing what's being said. I mean, what this cosmonaut says
Minders.
and goes through it, and
Yeah.
so. But we just talked freely, and I said, well, what do cosmonauts make? Is it a good salary?
That's what I asked Bill. Were they almost held up as heroes?
Yes,
They are.
and he said they make
They're
about.
like Olympic athletes that have won the gold. They all of a sudden become a
Yeah.
Top of the heap.
Hero. And they make about 100, as I recall. Bill might remember differently. But if you go, he was doing 100,000. If you go into space, you get a $200,000 bonus. And he said, "I'm doing well. I have 2 Mercedes. Blah 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 blah."
Ah,
and they're
I said,
expensive
"Good,
in
you
Russia.
deserve it."
Everything's expensive in Russia, isn't it?
A lot of Mercedes in Russia.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Big ones, those big ones that look like the beast.
Opulent. Anyway, we're having fun this morning with the All-Star panel. We welcome Jane back from her trip to Moscow. We've been trying to keep her apprised of what happened when she was gone. We've covered a lot of ground. We loved having Gary here, and as we come to the close of the All-Star panel, we always close with winners and losers, or air balls and home runs, or hits or misses. I'm going to start down on the end with Gary, because it looks like he's chafing at the bit to give me something here in terms of a loser and a winner.
Guess
go, man.
We actually hit upon it a little bit earlier. I think that the loser was the Prime Minister of Denmark. I think that was uncalled for her to be such I don't know, disrespectful. And I do give Trump a lot of credit. It wasn't about Trump, it was about America.
Yeah.
And he clearly stated that.
Yep.
So I think that I would pick her as the loser of the week.
You got a winner for us?
Oh boy, the winner. Trump!
Always.
Just like her.
That comes up more often than not as a winner on this panel, I can assure you. Bruce?
I will do 2 losers and,
All right.
and one winner.
Double loser.
2 home runs and 1 air ball. No, 2 air balls and 1 home run. So our prestigious Department of Transportation this week came out and said, you're not going to believe this, mini horses are now approved as comfort animals. So you can walk on a plane with something that's this stinking high.
Stinking high
is the operative word.
Yeah, and I'm going, what happens if this thing lets loose on the plane? And if you have an emergency landing, how do you get it to slide down the chute? I mean, come on.
I've always said, where do they poop? I mean,
right. It's just beyond belief. I mean, we have such nincompoops running these agencies.
I think I'd rather have a peacock.
Please bag your mini horse before you load it on the plane.
And, again, our favorite fun people out on the West Coast, the San Francisco Board of Supervisors in the city, has now come up with a whole new list of appropriate words. We did this with a college 2 or 3 weeks back. Now, convicted felons...
Convicted, no.
Convicted felons can't be called that anymore. They are now justice-involved persons.
You are kidding me.
No.
I will never say that.
That's JIP for short.
I'm making an oath right now.
Not JIP. Anyway, and
you got a winner.
My home run is Bob Cousy, the Boston Celtic player.
Yeah.
He just got the Presidential Medal of Freedom, well-deserved. And he said, I'm pretty much an independent, but I'm voting for Trump.
All right.
Giddy up. Was that before or after the medal? That wasn't a quid pro quo, was it?
It was a statement after.
Gotcha. Jane?
Okay, my loser is AOC again. And she's a loser because if you haven't seen it, look it up. She takes this video going across the plains, the desert. No people are there. She says, I'm in the state of wherever she was.
Confusion.
No houses, no anything. She says, yeah, we really need the Electoral College. All these people are voting. Look at this. She thought she was making a point for we don't need. She absolutely lost that one because she makes the point. The little people that live out there will not be represented. So it just backfired. So
and the court slammed her down yesterday.
America is a winner because she just explained it perfectly, but it backfired.
So America's the winner.
Yeah.
AOC's the loser. The reciprocation is the American
We win because
public.
people are going to start really saying, because we can now work off of that. Look what she said, and this is why, and it's going to start conversation, I think.
Well, we've had a good time this morning. We've indoctrinated one of our friends from Raleigh. He's going to be now our lead correspondent over in the swing state, and if it goes blue, it's all on you.
They'll be hell to pay.
You better be red than dead, right?
That's right.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, Gary. It was fun. Bruce, as always. Jane, we're glad to have you back, seeing your smiling face. When are you moving in back here?
Yeah.
We can live there right now.
Okay,
I just
good.
don't have my doggy thing.
I got you. Okay, well,
So
we'll
soon.
Soon we'll get the doggy doors fixed, and Jane will be able to to host us anytime that we
I'd
want.
love to host, yeah.
Speaking of hosting, I'm delighted to be here this morning for BKP, who's somewhere in western Pennsylvania. You'll see him on a back deck Monday through Friday talking to everybody on from the office, FYN TV. We're down here in beautiful Blue Ridge. We had some rain last night, huh?
Yeah.
Boy, did it rain. Anyway, we're glad to get the rain, and we're glad that it happened during the night, so we can continue our festivities with our friends from out of town. Pet of the Week showed up, but next, our good friend Jesse Barton's going to jump in here and tell us about all the sights and the sounds of Cameron Hall. So, Josh, will you please take it to break? And again, thanks for the
Let's
panel.
throw a kiss to Brian.
Thanks for having
Kiss
us.
to Brian, yeah.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
3 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hey, we are back. As you know, I'm RFG substituting for BKP, who's in PA. Got enough acronyms?
We need to throw a few more in there.
Yeah, that's right. I'm joined, as always, on Friday, right after the All-Star panel, by Jesse Barton, the Community Relations Director at Cameron Hall. And where are we going today, dear?
Well, in my mind, I'm in Apalachicola Bay, where I was last Friday.
Oh, nice.
So
how was it?
It's always gorgeous.
Yeah.
down there.
Did you have any fresh oysters down there? Oh, you're not an oyster
I'm not
gal,
an
are you?
oyster gal.
Yeah, you.
But
we
my
talked about that.
party had plenty of them.
The operative word there was party.
Yes.
Did you do any of that? Partying?
Well, there were 9 of us in the house.
Okay.
So every day was a party.
Okay, yeah. We've got 6 in the house right now.
Yeah.
At my place, and
every morning, every night.
And last night was a party.
Yes.
I'm surprised I got up on time this morning.
Well, I'm glad you did, so you could be here.
Did
Sorry
you hear
I
the
missed
rain?
Brian.
Did you hear the rain?
No.
It poured last night here in Blue Ridge.
How did I miss it?
I don't know. Maybe you were sleeping sound,
So-
recovering from your party in Apalachicola.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So,
let's focus on Cameron Hall this morning and tell us what's going on there.
So, this week it's been interesting. Of course, when you get back from vacation, it's always busy, but
Catch up, huh?
I have a special person that I have been working with.
A resident?
She's a potential resident.
Okay.
So she's interested in moving in. She realizes that she's not quite able to stay at home, but so she's going through the emotions of having to give up the home. But what hit me this week is, because they were like, oh, she called while you were out, to talk to us too. She doesn't have anybody to help her.
No one can share that decision-making process with her.
Right. And there's things such as getting her husband's DD-214 from the military. She needed that for a VA benefit, and then she needed a physician's report, and then she needs to go to the courthouse to get a death certificate for her husband for the VA. And it blew my mind that I was like, oh my goodness, because my husband and I don't have children, so I was like, what are we gonna do when the time comes? Who's gonna help us? She's a widow.
Right.
One of her neighbors has been friendly and helped do things around her home for her, and so she's kind of relying on him. And then she looked at me and she said, if it wasn't for you and him, I don't know what I would be doing.
Right.
So it's things like, who's going to help me line up to get all this furniture somewhere? Who's going to help me downsize? Who's going to help me pack? Who's actually going to physically help me move?
So what are the options? What you've gone through this process in your mind. I've got someone out there, potential resident, no family. Her spouse has passed away.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to make all the arrangements to take care of that process, and she realizes that she really isn't capable of living by herself.
So the interesting thing was, she was like, I think it's going to be easier to just forget it all and I'll just stay in my townhome, which she knows is not a safe decision anymore because her bedroom is upstairs. She's having trouble climbing the stairs, but it was so overwhelming to her and so many things to think about that no, I know it's not good for me to stay here, but it's just easier.
Well, it sounds like it's a good problem to have because you're facing the reality as an institution. Cameron Hall now realizes this is a real issue out there.
Yes, it is.
So it's one of the things that you can do to kind of lessen the load is thinking through the process. How can I help this person?
Right.
Do I solicit volunteers out there who might want to reach out and kind of be look over this person's shoulder for him.
Right. And so I'm helping her through the VA process, which has been so enlightening to help get that pension for widows. So I feel twofold. I feel like I've learned something personally, and then I feel like I'm learning professionally, because now I feel like if you call me about the VA benefits, I'm going to be able to say, oh my gosh, it's worth it, but here's the things you need to do. But it also makes me want to encourage you, if you don't have children, or you have children that may not be in the picture, or you have a spouse that's passed away and you are still by yourself, maybe make those arrangements with somebody. Find a trusted advisor, whether it's a clergy member at your church that's willing to do that. I have a lady at Cameron Hall whose clergy is very willing to do that for her and act as her power of attorney. Go ahead and make a plan, even if you don't know that you'll ever use it.
Well, I mean, it's good that you're thinking through that process, and you can, excuse me, I know you've got other facilities within the whole organization, so you can probably share some of that, and make sure that make sure that those challenges are met before they even happen.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then we are seeing a trend, because with the baby boomers, you're also seeing people that didn't have families, and so what we're seeing emerge in the industry are things like they're called geriatric care managers. So they're there to walk through the process with you. They can serve as your liaison. We're seeing some elder attorneys offer services to just be that contact person for you to help you make those decisions.
Just to facilitate all those necessary things that you've got to the chicanes of the paper trail.
There's a ton when you're dealing with VA and insurance, and it can be overwhelming. I can't imagine telling this little lady, okay, I need you to go to this office in the courthouse and pick up this form, and then I need you to walk over to this office in the courthouse and pick up this form, and then I need you to drive down here and go to this place. It just, and it's unethical for us to act as power of attorney, obviously.
Right.
So
you need kind of a clearinghouse.
It's an interesting situation that I'm curious to see how it continues to evolve.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you'll figure it out. We had I think I've mentioned several times we've got some house guests, and the question came up last night when I talked about Cameron Hall. Do you have? And I thought we had talked about this one time. Do you have bring in any companion animals at all, or?
We do. We have pet therapy 3-4 times a week. But we also let residents bring in their pets. So we've got residents that have a cat. We've got residents that have small dogs. We even have a resident who has a parrot.
Really?
So.
Polly want a cracker, huh?
Yes.
Does it talk?
It does. His name is Quaker. It's really cool.
That is cool.
So,
I bet you that's a point of conversation for a lot.
Yeah,
too,
you hear it squawking when you come in the door, and it's like, wait, where's the bird? So, but we do have volunteers that bring in their pets. So it's a really good thing. Yeah.
Are the residents allowed to have pets?
They are.
They are.
Yep. So that's where the bird comes from.
Okay.
And yeah, so if they're able to take care of it, like take a dog out and walk it, they are welcome.
As long as it's domesticated and it's not going to be a mini pony like we talked about before.
When y'all were saying that, I was like, ugh, we may need to rethink our policy now. We'll have somebody wanting to bring in their donkeys and stuff.
Oh, jeez.
Mini horses, a pig.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, why not a pig, right?
Why a little potbelly pig?
Right?
They do grow up.
They do.
Yeah, anyway.
My husband would like to say that they become bacon, which is horrible to say. So I'm sorry if I offend any pro-pig folks out there.
Pro-piggers, yeah.
That is what he tells me every time I say that I want a pet pig.
I know. We've just offended all the PETA people out there.
Exactly. They're going to come for me.
I don't care, because we've got the pet of the week is here.
Yay!
Who you got, Rena?
This is Atlas.
Atlas, don't shrug on me today, okay, buddy? It's always fun to be with you.
I'm glad to see you this morning.
I'm glad to be here, and glad you had a good time down in Apalachicola.
Sorry we missed you, Brian.
You contributed to the economy a little bit, I'm sure, down there.
We did.
Nice.
We ate at some nice restaurants, did some shopping.
Good for you.
Yeah.
All right. When we come back, we always appreciate Cameron Hall and Jesse Barton, who always brings us great, insightful information every week. When we come back, we will have the star of the show, the pet of the week. It's going to be Rena, and she brought Atlas with us today. So,
Atlas,
Josh, if you'll please take us to break.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and LJ, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Hey, we are back. We're back with Atlas. Atlas Shrugged.
Oh, look that way.
Atlas is a Atlas is a rescue. We welcome Rena, Humane Society of Blue Ridge, and every close of the show on Friday we bring in the All-Star Pet of the Week, and it's going to be Atlas. Tell us about Atlas, Rena.
Atlas is approximately 2 years old. Come here. He's still he's a little scared when you first meet him, but he just cowers down. He doesn't have any aggression whatsoever with people or with other dogs. He doesn't bark and act up when the dogs are near him. This is the first time I got him to take a toy.
And now he wants to bury it.
Now he acts like he wants to bury it and he's not giving it back. There you go. Are you comfortable now?
It's mine, and I'm...
We went and got Atlas from Cedartown, Georgia. He's been with us a couple of weeks. And as I said, I think he's just never really learned how to play. He walks very well on a leash. He loves to go for a ride in the truck. He's just your all-around good dog, and all he wants to do is just be with his person.
Find a forever home, huh?
Yes, find a forever home. Now, he is heartworm positive. That is not a death sentence. We have had 4 or 5 dogs that go through the shelter. They get treatment, and they are fine, they are clear, and they are living very happy lives, and they are playful, and they are able to do everything a normal dog does. So
look at this mask. He looks like Eddie Munster with that widow's peak there.
He has that. Yep, he's got that there. They have him listed as a Husky Shepherd. Anybody's guess is as good as that. We don't know, but all I know is he's a great dog. He would be a great companion for someone. It is possible to foster to adopt or adopt him before he goes through his treatment. You can do the treatments at home. We have had that happen before with our dogs too. Sometimes that's a better atmosphere for them because they thrive better in a home than they do in a shelter.
Atlas has obviously got 7 lives, so he was on the let's tell it like it is. He was going to be euthanized.
He was on the euthanasia list in Cedartown, and a lot of shelters do that, or animal control situations do that when they're too overcrowded.
Humane Society of Blue Ridge is a no-kill shelter.
Yes, and so he touched the hearts of Humane Society of Blue Ridge, and we ran up there and got him the day of. We had till 4 o'clock that day.
He figuratively dodged that bullet. Now
Yes,
he's
he
got.
did. On the way home, we had Chick-fil-A nuggets.
Nice.
So, and he was really good to me when I first met him. He was scared to get in the truck, so I had to lift him in the truck. Today, he jumped in the truck. So he's been in my vehicle about 3 or 4 times now, and today he's getting better with getting in the cars. He sits shotgun in the front seat.
Such a calm, nice dog.
He is very calm. He is a really good dog. Like I said, during the heartworm procedure, when he starts, and he has not started yet, but he will soon. When he
How
starts,
long does that take typically?
It's if I remember correctly, it's 1 shot. He has to stay at the vet for 24 hours, and then I think it's a month later. It might be 2 months later. Then it's a series of 2 more shots, and he stays at the vet those 2 days, and then he is on the heartworm preventative now too, along with that, and then he will. Probably after 8 months or so, then we retest them and make sure that they're heartworm negative. And it's just a matter of shots, but you have to keep him calm. So he can't, he has to be walked on a leash at all times. He can't be outside and get overexcited. If it was a really sunny day, you wouldn't want to leave him out or
So
walk
that
him
the
for a long
calmness
time.
is part of the protocol.
Right.
For
treating the heartworm
recuperation.
positive. Yeah, because you figure when your heart pumps fast, if the heartworms are there and everything, that gets them going.
Right.
So you keep them calm during, from now until after his treatments. And then once he's considered negative, then you slowly start introducing exercise again. And like I said, Taylor came in heartworm positive. We had Gracie, we had Rusty, and I believe there was another one that's escaping my mind. But we have had them come in. It is not a death sentence.
So will he stay with us until he is?
If someone is interested in him, he can go to the home. So long as they're local, he can possibly go to the home, which is a good environment. They have to keep him calm. So if they have another dog and they wanted to do a meet and greet, that probably wouldn't work because he can't do all of that right now. But he can stay with us, he gets the care with us, or if someone's interested and you don't have another dog, he can go to a home and go through the treatments there. And it's not difficult. We don't do the treatments. Akoe does, when we take them to the vet.
Right.
So, and they stay there throughout the treatment so they can be monitored. And then they come back and we just keep up with everything and walking and just keeping them calm is the main thing. But like I said, he is a great dog.
Yeah.
This is Atlas here, and he's just learning to play with. He doesn't know what the squeaky is.
Last Saturday we had a great adoption facility event.
Yes, we did. Yes.
We had a lot of. Let's see, Tri-State came out. Tri-State Pet Rescue came out, and we had Homeward Bound. We had Evolutionary Canine, and we had
I can't remember.
Fences for Fido.
Yes, that is a nice organization.
It is
too.
very nice, and I got to meet Jackie and her husband, and have invited them to co-op with us and see if we can to get some of these dogs in Fannin County off chains. And
yes.
So yeah, that's a great organization. You were there.
Yeah, I was there briefly. Yes, in the morning.
Yeah, the whole crew was there,
and there was
had a great morning.
Can't remember the name, but there was another booth for dog sitting.
Oh yeah,
the name of the
pet sitter.
Yeah, I can't remember the name.
I
of the
can't remember
company.
the name of the lady.
Kathy.
Yeah. But the tell us about Frank. Did Frank the little puppy?
I believe Frank has been called for.
Oh, good.
I don't have all the information, but I do understand that he will be leaving us soon. We have 2 new puppies that came in either yesterday or the day before. Obviously, you know, they're in intake
they have
for
to
14
go through,
days.
Yeah, they have to go through an incubation process to
Yes.
make sure that.
So we make sure there's no diseases, they're not sick, and they can't pass anything on to our general population. So, but there are 2 more puppies there. We still have, Coda went home. You probably don't remember Coda. I did have her here. We still have Sienna, Jinx, and Juno. Nico is back. I know we talked about that last week. I'll probably bring him next week if I don't have anyone new.
Nico was here a couple weeks ago, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And we do have a new
Look
dog.
at him. He's just sitting up there cooling it. Brian, this guy's for you, man. I tell you what, he could sit out on the side porch with you while you do your reading and you're smoking your cheap cigar.
Yeah, he'd be a great dog for someone with a business that would want a dog, kind of hang out at the business, but not be overly, blue. But we also have a new one. His name is Oliver, and he might actually be here. He might be out of intake by next week, so I may be able to bring him next week. He's a really laid-back dog. Oh my gosh, he is so cool.
A lot of choices out there for a forever companion.
Cats and kittens. We have plenty of cats and kittens looking for homes. We've had a few of them that went this week, I think, and maybe last week. So come on out and visit us and see what we have.
We were having a dinner party at the house with our friends, and we laughed last night about a famous quote by the former coach, the late coach from Ohio State, Woody Hayes, who said, "You want a friend? Get a dog." I won't say the rest of the quote, but the boiled down version was, if you want a friend, get a dog.
That's right. Loyal to the end.
Yeah.
Will never hurt you, deceive you, or anything until the end. They are the best loyal companions you could ever wish for.
He's a sweet boy.
Yes, he really is. He's just so laid back.
I know.
He's really a good
Tell
dog.
them where we are at the Humane Society, Rena.
All right, come on out and visit us, 171 Mineral Springs Road, which is just off of Aska. We are open Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 10 to 5, and Saturday is 10 to 2. And follow us on Facebook. We post lost dogs, found dogs. We post our dogs. A wealth of information from anything from the heat to events that are going on. And go to our website, humanesocietyofblueridge.org, and you'll see all of our cats and kittens and dogs and puppies on there with a bio telling you a little bit about them.
And visit our thrift store.
Yes.
Down on East, over there.
Maine?
Yeah.
No.
East First.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is Maine.
Old 76, when you turn off 515, first thrift store right by the high school.
There you go.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, Robbie, that I don't know the address offhand. But anyway, thanks for bringing Atlas and sharing his story with us. We hope Atlas finds a forever home.
Yes, I don't think it'll take too long.
Yeah. Josh, thanks so much for your work today, as always. Thank you, Brian, for letting me sit in. Thanks to Gary and to Ken, who came by and gave us some support, both directly and indirectly. And we're going to have some fun this weekend. We hope the weather holds, and we hope Atlas finds a home. Brian, take care. Best to your family, and we will chat soon. Josh, again, thank you. So we are here at Sycamore Crossing, and we're done. And thank you again for watching.